So, it's been a while. Hello YouTube. It's been 4 months since I have uploaded a proper video of Elden Ring, and this is very different from my normal videos. Because this is a review of Spider-Verse, or Cross the Spider-Verse. Wait, yeah, Cross Spider-Verse, not Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. So, this is not scripted at all. So this is gonna be a very weird way to, do this. But anyway, so I would like to explain my thoughts, my opinions, and some theories I have for the next movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse. And this segment will have spoilers, but like maybe in the middle of the video I'll start to have spoilers. So I'll give y'all a warning. If y'all still haven't seen the movie, which if you haven't, I highly recommend. Anyway. This movie, in my honest, genuine opinion, I saw it twice, is really good. It is fantastic. It is a great sequel to the original. And I love the original. It's probably one of my favorite comic book movies ever, of all time. So, the standards were really high when watching this movie, and they meet those expectations. Do I think it's better than Into the Spider-Verse, though? Yesn't. More so, it doesn't benefit from being a one-part movie. It doesn't feel like a full movie, but for what it does have, it's still a really good follow-up. But I still think I do have to rewatch the original. I think the original is slightly better, but Across the Spider-Verse did a really good attempt of being almost better than the original. Yeah, I think the movie was awesome. I loved the cameos. Let's get that out the way. The cameos were good and they didn't feel forced in. And sometimes they actually felt like they should have been there a little longer. And I'm not really even a sucker for cameos. I actually don't even like cameos as much. After Marvel, the MCU has, butchered cameos and the multiverse story that Into the Spider-Verse has started. The animation is gorgeous. Let me talk about it. Animation, perfect, beautiful. Honestly, it's art. It's perfect. I'm not gonna give away too much, but they have way different art styles and all this, and it's so good. I love it. This movie is beautiful, and if you don't want to watch it for the characters, the story, please watch it for the animation. It is amazing. If you're a sucker for animation, please, it's so good. Soundtrack is my second favorite soundtrack in any movie ever. Besides the Guardians movies, this is my favorite. The soundtrack in this movie was so, I can't describe, otherworldly. Yeah, it was like, and fun fact, while I was recording the Miles Morales gameplay for this video, I was listening to the soundtrack. It's really good. It's mostly by Metro Boomin, and even without the normal songs, the themes of the characters are really good too. Like, of course, we gotta talk about 2099's theme. It's awesome. It's not gonna touch Prowlers. Oh god. Yeah. About to choke on something. Jesus. Anyway, it's not touching the Prowler theme. And it's definitely not touching the Prowler theme, but it's still really good. Both the spots themes are really good. It's just really good. Everything's really good. But yeah, the music I am a sucker for in this movie. I love music, and it was so good. I loved all the tracks, all the themes. Just listen to them, man. If you don't even want to watch the movie, but you love music, listen to it. At least, if you're a fan of Metro Boomin, listen to it. So yeah, that's what I really don't have any more to say without spoilers, because it's hard to say anything without spoilers. So that's my non-spoiler review, I guess. So if you want, you can skip to this time frame, or you can just leave the video. That's fine with me. If you haven't still seen the movie, I highly recommend it. And if you if you could just watch it and come back to the video, or you don't even have to come back to the video. Just yeah. So for my spoiler review of the movie, wow. Okay, the plot. Oof. The themes and the plot of this movie are very heavy. And I think that's a great aspect of the movie, because we have Miles trying to find his way in this world, which that I actually kind of relate to that, because I'm a 17-year-old trying to find my way in the world, what he wants to do, and his mom telling him not everyone's gonna accept him, but those words or those comments can't put him down. He has to be him. And Miles' stories recently, so Into the Spider-Verse, in the Miles Morales game, the Insomniac universe, is it really shows Miles being his own character from Peter. Because in the Ultimate Universe, it felt like Miles was a good character, but it felt like he was just Peter Parker, just a different version of him. But they evolved that aspect, because I don't know how to explain it, but they evolved that aspect of Miles in the game, the movies, and even the recent comics too. And it's just a really good way to describe it. And let's talk about the characters. All right, Spider-Punk's my favorite character. It's off rip. Spider-Punk was the best character in the movie, and he's only in like five, maybe 6 minutes of the movie, but he steals the show. He's kind of like a lovable asshole, but at the same time, he's the only support Miles has, and yeah, that's a problem I actually do want to talk about though. All the Spider-Man not being on Miles' side was kind of ridiculous. Well, technically, some makes sense, because I saw an interview with Josh Keaton about Spectacular Spider-Man and the reason why he might join Miguel, and it actually makes sense since he lost his version of Captain Stacy, and if you've seen Spectacular Spider-Man, they were really close acquaintances, so it would really suck that he lost another father figure. Lost two father figures. He might have lost Gwen. We don't know, since we never got season 3, and I'm still pissed off about that. Spectacular Spider-Man will always be my favorite cartoon out of the Spider-Man franchise. That does make sense. But it's still kind of unrealistic that all the Spider-Man would side on Miguel. And I know we're getting a team of the OG team from Into the Spider-Verse, plus Spider-Bite. Not Gwen. Gwen was in the original team. Plus Spider-Bite, Spider-Punk, and Spider-Man Indian. But I feel like there should have been some more. But actually, now that I think about it, I think the reason why Miguel didn't get those type of Spider-Man was because he knew they were going to side with Miles. So maybe he was like, nah, we're not going to recruit them. So like Web of Shadows, Spider-Man, or I'm trying to think of any others. The trio, the Peter 1, Peter 2, and Peter 3 trio. Those guys, just those, more older and experienced Spider-Man. Because if you think about it, the only older and experienced Spider-Man we get is Peter B. Parker, and all the other ones look young. So I'm assuming that he's on the young and more inexperienced Spider-Man to side with him instead. So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about more characters, because I'm kind of dozing off about that. Spider-Man Indian was also great. Second favorite character in the movie. Talk about the villain, the Spot. Spot was amazing too. All the characters were great, except for one. I'm gonna talk about Gwen Stacy. Yeah. So about Gwen. Okay, it's not completely Gwen's fault. She's kind of justified, but at the same time, I don't know. I just hope that in Beyond the Spider-Verse, it takes a while for Miles to forgive her, which would be more realistic. And yeah, and you know, so I didn't. Jessica Drew was alright too. She was fine, I guess, but out of like all the Spider-Men, I'd have to say my top 3 were definitely Spider-Punk, Spider-Man Indian, and not counting Miles, because Miles was top 3 too. But if we're not counting Miles, then it's Miguel O'Hara too. But yeah, I think that my main problem with the story is that it just ends. That's completely it. And, with the different styles they mix in, they actually make live action technically an art style. So when I was explaining different art styles, they literally added live action. They didn't like, so if they were to bring Andrew into Beyond the Spider-Verse, it's gonna be Andrew Garfield. It's not gonna be an animated version of him. It's actually gonna be Andrew Garfield. So that's gonna look trippy, but I kind of like that too. We saw Donald Glover as Aaron Davis, aka the Prowler, which was awesome. We saw a quick snippet of Insomniac Spider-Man, which was cool. Ben Reilly, although not being in the movie for like 2 minutes, he was still amazing, and I'm hoping they bring Kane into the sequel. I actually really love Kane. And that's all I have to say about the characters. And the story. And the themes. So the movie itself was just almost perfect. It's like the best sequel, and I'm hoping Beyond the Spider-Verse delivers on that final like aspect of the trilogy. I hope it isn't like a trilogy where the first 2 are great and the third one's it's okay, it's good, but there's some aspects to it that suck, like Kung Fu Panda, which I do love the third one, but it was a little bit more childish than the first 2. And yeah, I'm just hoping it doesn't end up like that, but I'm confident it won't. So, my theories on what's gonna happen in Beyond the Spider-Verse consists of, what I want to see is Miles from Earth 42 help Miles from our Earth, 11610B, I'm pretty sure, 1610B, I'm pretty sure, or 1016B, I can't remember which one, but I'm hoping these 2 team. It's cool to see a version of Miles who took a different route working with a Miles who took another different route. And yeah, I just think that'd be a really cool idea for Beyond the Spider-Verse. A lot of people are already theorizing that this Miles isn't evil per se. He's more of an anti-hero because, you know, everyone else is worse than him, so he has to. It's like a do or die situation where if he doesn't become hardened by the world, you know, if he's not hardened in this world, then he's gonna die. So, and he has if you notice, he has a stronger Hispanic accent because he was raised mostly by his mom and not his dad. Another thing is, if you can see a glimpse of 42 Miles. I'm gonna just call him 42 Miles. Almost get bit by the 42 spider that our Miles gets bit. That our Miles gets bit with. Technically, that our Miles was supposed to be Prowler and that Miles was supposed to be Spider-Man, but since somebody did that, you know. And before we talk about any more theories, I want to say about the weirdest thing ever that probably made everybody uncomfortable in the theater. This man Miguel went off on Miles. He for real said, "You an anomaly, you a mistake." Bro just insulted this man's whole entire bloodline. It was crazy. But technically it wasn't his fault. Technically it was the Spot's fault. Most of the movie's technically the Spot's fault. If the Spot didn't do all this, you know, none of this would have happened. Well, not all of it, but you know what I'm saying. They forgot to add the most important Spider-Man, Bagel Spider-Man. They added Spider Plush. They added Spider Ice Cream. They added the Spider-Man Ice Cream. They didn't add Spider Bagel or Spoot. Well, oh wait, no, never mind. Spider-Man is in the movie. Huh? That's weird. Actually, that's thinking about it now. I'm gonna talk about the Sonyverse. If y'all don't know, Sony has their own cinematic universe of Spider-Man, and it does not consist of Spider-Man. It only consists of his heroes becoming anti-heroes. That being Venom, which does make sense because Venom is an anti-hero in the comics. But Morbius and Kraven the Hunter? What? And my question is, I know if you can't use Peter Parker because it would confuse the public on which Peter Parker to follow, why not just use different Spider people? Y'all have Miles Morales, Spider-Noir, which apparently they're making a show of, and a movie for a live-action movie for Miles Morales. You know, Spider-Noir, Spider-Gwen, Ben Reilly, Kane Parker. You got fucking Aunt May as a Spider-Man. I know Sony was gonna make an Aunt May movie, so y'all could have used that. Sorry for getting sidetracked there, but anyway, if you technically think about it, Mayday Parker is an anomaly. So I don't know, and Peter B. Parker's universe seems completely fine. Because if you don't know, Mayday says, or if you've seen the movie, or are you just sticking around for spoilers? Peter says he had Mayday because of Miles. So, in retrospect, Mayday's technically anomaly. Alright, I want to talk about one more thing about this movie that I really enjoy, is that it's breaking the mold for the character. And what I mean by that, it's not making Spider-Man suffer. And that's one of the interpretations of one of the main themes. Because if you know, the movie is basically about canon. If you don't know what canon is, it's like the main events, like Gwen Stacy's death in the 616 universe, or Uncle Ben's death, or Uncle Aaron's death. And the canon is stating that Spider-Man has to suffer to be Spider-Man. And it's just kind of alluding to comic books, Marvel comics nowadays. As you know, we don't talk about the new Spider-Man run. It is awful, but I don't want to discourage Zeb Wells because it could be Marvel's fault. But that new run is awful, and it's kind of making Peter suffer. The newer runs, ever since I've seen a lot of people talk about how 80s and 90s was peak Spider-Man. He was, or 70s and 80s, or 80s and 90s, I can't remember, but we'll just say the 80s. 80s version of Spider-Man was peak Spider-Man because he was Spider-Man, and then after that he just got suffering. There's more suffering. Revealed his identity. One More Day happened. We also don't talk about that. And there's a lot of stuff happens, and it doesn't even. And if we're talking about more comic versions of Spider-Man, it doesn't even happen to the main Spider-Man. It also happens to Ultimate Spider-Man. He dies when he's 16. 16. But we also get Miles Morales from this run, so I guess that works. But the writers love to make Spider-Man suffer, and the movie says, like Miles says, which is very corny but also a really good line in the movie, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing." He doesn't want to suffer like all the other Spider-Men, so he wants to save his dad, which is a reasonable response. Also, another problem. This is just like a nitpick, but what did Miguel expect when he just told Miles that his dad was gonna die in 2 days? Did he expect Miles to be reasonable and just give him a handshake? Be like, "Oh yeah, okay, I got you. Oh yeah, I'm an anomaly. Oh yeah, it's fine." No, what? And yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, opinions, and theories, which there weren't many theories that are going to happen in Beyond the Spider-Verse, and my thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse. And I said this movie is really good, and I highly recommend it if you still haven't watched it. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna have a Ghost of Tsushima video coming out. It's not actually gonna follow the story, it's just gonna be my own little thing, because now I'm gonna do my own thing. Okay, anyway, well, I'll catch y'all later, and yeah, I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all days. Peace.
Bye.